Really excited to welcome you guys here on the brink of our Season 3 World Championship Finals. So tomorrow is a really big day for us, and so there's a lot of nerves and a lot of enthusiasm in this room. But here's a story that not many people know. About 15 years ago, long before Mark and I started Riot, we thought about starting an esport company, a professional gaming league. And we were in college at the time at USC. And we knew, just like every other hardcore gamer who was playing competitively at the time in games like StarCraft or Quake or Counter-Strike, that these games felt like sports. And that they would benefit from more structured and organized competitive play. Why couldn't we enroll in intramural StarCraft in the same way that we could enroll in intramural basketball? And I'm not sure we really expected that games would eventually make their way to sports arenas like here at the Staples Center, but it was certainly fun to imagine. And we skipped a whole day of classes one afternoon to go brainstorm in a meeting room in the Levy Library at SC. And of course, we ended up starting a game developer and publisher instead several years later. But we always had this notion that professional organized esports was something that gamers wanted. And a lot of people have been putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears over the last couple decades to make this happen. So if we take a quick look back at the history of esports, it's clear that today is part of a journey that significantly predates our discussion in college. In fact, we were fortunate to be at a school that was already part of a collegiate gaming league, a league called the CIGL, sponsored by Sega at the time, which was primarily focused on Quake. In fact, our gaming club at USC's Quake team was one of the top in the nation and took home $5,000 in prizes that year, which was really a big deal in esports back then. But esports has been advanced by a significant amount of passionate players and organizations for a very long time. Pro teams like SK Gaming and Team Liquid and more have been on the scene since 1997. These teams have been around longer than some professional teams in basketball, in football, and baseball. In fact, the 2001 Baseball World Series was won by the Arizona Diamondbacks, who were founded in 1998, so they're younger than these esports teams. These teams have been playing games like Counter-Strike and StarCraft and joining leagues like ESL and MLG and more since '96. And the evolution of a professional esports scene is driven by thousands of players and fans and spectators from all over the world who share their passion for competitive play. So I can't really begin to describe how excited I am to be here and to be able to invite all of you out here to the latest step in our own esports journey to talk a little bit about how we got here and why we're doing what we're doing and a little bit about where we're headed. Let me introduce our VP of Esports, Dustin.
Thank you, Brandon, and thank you everyone for coming out today. We really could not be more excited to be here at Staples Center in advance of our World Championship. We've always been longtime fans of esports at Riot. This is a dream come true to be at Staples Center where the Lakers and the Clippers and Kings play professional matches. NBA championships have been won here. And I'm hoping that you've all been able to tune in to different kind of bits and pieces of the action that's unfolded over the past couple of weeks. There's really been some remarkable games, and two potential champions are left standing. We have Royal with China, and we have SK Telecom representing Korea. And I can't wait, I'm sure a lot of other people can't wait to see how that unfolds tomorrow. So esports at Riot, how did we get to this point? Brandon talked about a very illustrious kind of esports background. There's 15 years of teams that have been represented, games, different leagues, And it started in dorm rooms and PC cafes and PC bongs and evolved to conference rooms and then convention centers. But you know, the thing that's been consistent and a thematic thing is the passion and exuberance and competition level of all of these athletes who've been playing the game. And today, here at Staples, I mean, it's the perfect setting for League of Legends esports to crown this Season 3 champion. A lot of you might be asking and thinking, why is Riot so driven and why are we so focused on esports? Well, you know, the short of it is, Riot is a player-driven company. We've gone all in with esports because this is what our players all across the globe have asked for. And delivering this type of experience, it's what they deserve. You know, we've been fortunate enough to be in this unique position where we can deliver this new sport to our fans. Timing has really been on our side. We've taken advantage of being at the right place at the right time. The game, it quickly appealed to a massive player base. It's had an associated built-in viewer audience because of it. And you know, the recent advancements in streaming have really enabled us to create this portal for our fans to access content all across the globe. They can grasp it at their fingertips for free in crystal clear HD. If that wasn't enough, we've engendered a passionate fan base all around the world to the sport. And our community has actually been empowered to contribute to it at every single level. We have streamers who are streaming online, teaching people how to improve their game. We have folks organizing tournaments all across the globe. There's thousands of tournaments that are done at the grassroots level. And we have casters who are re-streaming our game. And you know, the LCS and Worlds have had, I think we have 16 total languages streaming our game tomorrow night. And that's really exciting, right? Riot is in this for the long haul. We truly feel like we're in the very early stages of where League of Legends esports is going to be, and it has so much further to go, and it's going to continue to evolve in a high-quality manner. For many of you in the audience, tomorrow is going to be your first esport event, and we're so excited to share this opportunity with all of you. When we look back 2 years ago, just to Season 1, our community was actually the driving force for League of Legends esports. You know, Riot was more of an exploratory initiative than anything else. The game was designed as a team sport. You know, it's highly competitive. No two games are ever the same. It's rather simple to pick up, but it's impossible to master. There's a diverse set of viable and successful strategies that work. But the one thing that we didn't know is we weren't sure how it was going to perform as a spectator sport. That was until our audience numbers came in after the Season 1 finals, and they really kind of blew out our expectations. And as a group of people at Riot who are already passionate about esports, that was the proof point that we really needed to go balls to the wall with this and deliver this esport experience that's lived up to our imaginations. And we haven't looked back since. After the Season 1 finals, and as we experimented throughout all of Season 2, we really kind of took a step back and we asked ourselves, how do we deliver a better esport experience? What was missing from this current ecosystem? And to answer that, we actually had to phrase the question in a slightly different way. What do players envision from an awesome esport experience? We thought about the experience from the player and from the fan perspective and noticed there was actually a lot of holes, particularly when we compared League of Legends as an esport to any other traditional sports out there. We kind of took inspiration from FIFA, we took inspiration from NFL, and frankly, we took a lot of inspiration from OGN. They're the esport network in Korea. They've been leading the way for over a decade. In fact, OGN's been broadcasting esports on television for almost a decade now. It's crazy. So, you know, we put ourselves into fan shoes, which felt pretty natural because we're all esport fans. And we asked the questions like, when's the game on? Oops, I'm clicking my slides. When's the game on? Are the games I'm watching meaningful? Who are the pros and who are the teams? How do players even become pros? How do I watch and participate? Why would I want to be part of this experience? So these were all questions that really needed answers. So we went out to tackle all these questions with the advent of the LCS. Like, when's the game on, and are those games meaningful? We really needed to emphasize consistency and a proper schedule. Previously, there were intermittent tournaments that were occurring that really had no regular cadence or viewing patterns that were established. And everyone knows in the NFL, on Sunday night, and all day Sunday. There are awesome matches to watch. On Monday night, there's marquee matches, and nobody knew when the next League of Legends event would be, so we had to solve that. So first and foremost, we created a structure, which is the League Championship Series, the LCS. It's a new league structure where every match counts. The stakes are always high. We implemented some fundamental mechanisms within the league. One key one being promotion and relegation, for example. That allows up-and-coming teams in this new sport to make their way into the league. But it also still provides enough stability to generate that fandom and that personality that's required for the sport. Now, we didn't want teams to always be in and out of the league. That would have been really bad for the sport. But at the same time, we needed to ensure that there was a high level of competition and that complacency was very low. We created a really easy to digest and sensible structure. We fostered a format that allowed for teams and players to compete on a week-to-week basis. It opened the door for our fans to know when to tune in, right? Thursday and Friday night is LCS in North America. Saturday and Sunday, LCS in Europe. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, that's OGN Champions League. Friday and Saturday, that's LPL in China, and so on and so forth. So we created these kind of consistent schedules for our players to latch onto. And then our regular season format really created this kind of instance where teams were jockeying for position week in, week out. They couldn't take the week off. They had to foster these intense kind of rivalries that happen within their respective regions, just like any other sport. When you think Major League Baseball, you know Red Sox versus Yankees, and you can't not watch if you're a fan of those teams. And we had the same phenomenon happen. There's EG versus Gambit. There's TSM versus CLG. So we started having these marquee matchups that fans would look forward to weeks in advance. Teams ended up developing in their own way. Some rose to the top, others fell to the bottom, and are facing relegation now. Even stalwarts like SK Gaming is going to be in for a fight of their life in December. We took some more cues from traditional sports in the US. We wove in an all-star game into our schedule. We had no way to rank international teams for the upcoming Worlds, and so we solved that problem while also engaging fans in a really exciting way. We conducted a fan vote globally from each region. We actually had over 45 million votes cast. That's a crazy number, and in fact, Messiah, who's the top vote getter in China, had single-handedly gotten over 4 million votes. That's multiples more than Kobe Bryant, in spite of my own personal vote for Kobe. Needless to say, here's a really cool clip of a recap that we did for the All-Star game.
The fans are starting to fill up the 8,000 seats in this indoor stadium live from Shanghai Grand Stage in China.
World champions TPA Rico. That was an amazing ring. He's going, oh my god, sorry, he's managed. Oh my god, Rico! He's 26,000, sorry. Oh, look at the face of this higher there. So as in all kinds of trouble now. You see the he's going to get the first vote.
This event served a great purpose, which helped tie all of our international leagues together in a mid-season event. It generated a ton of excitement for the upcoming Worlds. And it's just fun to see these top players in the world compete together when they're normally rivals, and now they're on the same teams. We had over 18 million unique viewers tuned in to the event. The US, Europe, Korea, China, Southeast Asia, and Taiwan, these were 5 independent regions that all had their own respective season-long kind of journeys that these players went on that I helped identify the top teams who were on the road to Worlds. Tomorrow, we're going to see which of these regions is going to be crowned the best team in the world. The next video we created that was in advance of the Worlds, it's pretty exciting.
The road to the biggest event of esports begins right here.
No boom this year, sadly. We've shown here our combined LCS regular season viewership numbers. Millions of people are tuning in every single week. And what we've really seen over the course of the season is that this league consistency is working for our fans. There's been a ton of interest and participation from our fans consistently tuning in to this broadcast in large numbers to watch the games. This continued growth and momentum has been built over an entire season, and we're starting to see new peaks of the world as it culminates into this last team standing. We're also looking at over 70 minutes of average engagement time from our fans when they tune into the broadcast. If you compare that to the average YouTuber who tunes in for about 7 minutes, it's a pretty neat stat. It's great to see this loyalty and this building interest of our fans tuning in. The next question that we attempted to answer was, who are these pros? Who are these teams? And even then, how do I pick a team or even a player to care about? Like, part of the fandom is simply going to just happen as exposure to competition happens, right? People are going to associate themselves with winners. It's just part of winning, but part of it is also helping players get exposed to who these pros are, both by highlighting their stories and helping fans get to know them. We need to help highlight the human side of players and teams, and these interesting and really surreal journeys that they've been on to become pro athletes, right? It's the same phenomenon that you see in the Olympics, for example, right? How do fans get excited about something like downhill skiing when you don't know much about the sport? It's really about the players, and it's about the journey of these people to become Olympians. One recent star is Faker, right? He's quickly built this reputation as an insane playmaker with Michael Jordan-esque plays in the mid lane. Some people are calling him the best mid laner in the world, and he's really been a walking highlight reel. And now he has fans all over the world. I mean, these pictures are taken from our NA studio with North American fans who are just like waiting in line and fired up to see him. Xpeke is another great example. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Xpeke, but he's also had some huge plays. And we're getting to know these players not only in the game, but also off the field, so to speak. It's not just watching these players, but it's also connecting with them. There's an opportunity to connect with them at live events. Our pros come early, they stay late, they're signing autographs with the fans, they're interacting with fans. They're unbelievable ambassadors, and they're iconic representatives for the game, for their team, for their own brand. And furthermore, and thanks to the innovations around streaming, players have been able to interact with their fans in a way that's truly unprecedented in sports. Fans have gotten to know their favorite players by watching their streams and by interacting with them in real time. This is a photo of Voy Boy kind of training people to get better at solo laning. Right, he's teaching lessons on a stream, he's talking to fans, he's typing to fans. You can see chat on the right, you can see his kind of webcam, and it's a fun experience for fans to be able to get to know them better. And so this is really where narrative and storytelling has become, a big part of what we do. And it ties in and it comes to play for highlighting schedule. Fans have learned and got to experience parts of their personal journeys of various pros all over the globe. Snoopy is bent on getting motivated to get fit, right? There's a story behind how Scara got his name. There's a Make-A-Wish dream that Crepo helped to organize. And all of these have helped us build deeper connections with who these pros are. This following video is about Zion Spartan and his graduating from high school.
Today was just my last day of school. It was a pretty crazy day, and it was kind of sad saying goodbye to everybody. I'm just like a mixed bag of feelings. I don't know how to feel about this.
I met Darshan freshman year, biology class. He's definitely become more, I'd say, outgoing because of this. As more people hear about him, he becomes more confident in himself.
It was really cool when I had these people that I didn't even know at my own school congratulating me for being good at a video game.
Once I discovered that I had a celebrity in the room, I said, he is now, immediately, I erased his name from the seating chart and changed it immediately. And then from that day forward, it's always been, and it's not just Zion Spartan, it's Zion Spartan.
Oh my God, Zion Spartan is dancing up, picks the kill on 1v1, an extremely action-packed, super weak.
People don't, at first they're just like, wow, that's really interesting, because they don't know like if it's a good or bad thing. They're like, you need to make sure you go to college, you need to make sure you do all these things, because they don't really understand esports that much. So it's kind of hard. I have to like kind of explain the concept of what esports is to them, for them to understand how big it is.
A lot of his peers are going to four-year schools, and Zion Spartan could be attending a four-year school anywhere in the nation, and he's going to pursue his passion, and I respect that greatly.
His dad made up his mind that we're never going to force him to do anything, like become an engineer or a doctor or anything. He wants him to enjoy what he's doing. So when he said he's going to play game, we were like, okay, go for it.
I kind of realized that like sometimes like chances come and you kind of want to do what you love, and you only have these like small windows of opportunity. So I kind of decided that I wanted to go into this thing head first because it's what I like to do, and I'm going to pursue it and see where I end up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, everybody's dreams like, oh, you grow up playing video games. Like, that would be so cool if I could do this forever, but not everybody can.
I'm just so happy for him, and I'm very proud of him. I'm happy that I have a son who is so talented.
If I'm not trying my hardest at whatever is important to me, then I'm just wasting my time. I don't want to do that. So I decided that if I'm going to be playing video games, then I want to be the best at it, and I want to do whatever it takes to prove that I am.
So we've told you about our pros, but how do players like you and anyone in the crowd that plays or myself, how do we become pros, right? The reality is that only a small slice of our audience actually has that innate talent and insane drive to compete on a path to becoming pro. But what's important to us is to help define what that path really is. You know, people who play football, they know there's Pee Wee leagues, there's high school, there's college, and then there's the NFL. And again, while only a sliver of that audience can actually make it to the pro league, as a fan, it's fun to see those various levels of play. The illuminated path that we've created helps you really appreciate the legitimacy in the accomplishment that it takes to become a pro. Regardless of if you're stuck in the Pee Wee league like myself, sadly not very good at the game, or if you're really good but you still can't make it, it helps you fully appreciate that because you've understood the path that they bring through and what they needed to do in order to get to where they are. Interestingly enough, over 20% of our players have played in ranked this season. They've tried their might in a highly competitive realm. And Cloud9 is really a perfect example of the team that's risen out of ranked and into the Challenger League. And now they're the top team in North America. I mean, they almost made a really big splash in World this year as they sadly ran into a piping hot Fnatic team that 2-1'd them, but they were really close. And the next video kind of captures their emotions. It's a bit dated video. It's from our May qualifier when they were competing to get promoted into the LCS. And a little bit of confusion. They were named Quantic back then, so apologies for that, but check it out.
I think the state of Quantic is pretty strong right now. We have gone through some roster changes.
Yuzuki left top, Balls came in, Wild Turtle with the TSM, I came in, IL9 moved to mid, and
person that stayed the same position as Lemon Nation.
I really like this type of team now. I like everyone in the team. We all get on very well.
Moving in house has helped us grow as a team, stay our job as well.
It's really easy to get people online for scrims, and we can watch replays together.
I don't really think we're nervous, but I guess scared if we lose.
There is a lot on the line for us. If we don't make it in, we most probably will disband and we will just not continue to be a team. And that would be horrible. I love this team.
Because if I don't qualify, that's twice in a row I failed, and that's not something you want to live with. So as far as for me, it's very important. And as far as my team, I believe we think the same way. We all trust in each other, and we all think we're good enough to be in it. So hopefully we can both do it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the most pressure we've been under as a team. It's really important to us.
We're in half competition right now, so hoping that past 6 2 weeks we can.
I think we will make it. I think we'll be in LCS after this. And I think we will be celebrating.
So when you're a brand new team like Cloud9, in order to go from being a loosely organized team of players who are playing on ranked to a professional team that live together, that practice together, that compete together 2 days a week out of a live studio, it really takes an investment, not only of your time, but also economics to go fund that team, to go fund these players. And one new and really exciting element of our sport and the associated support for pros is that traditional sponsors are really starting to take notice. And they're getting in the mix, right? Big name sponsors are entering the ecosystem. And just like any other sport, they're providing teams and players with more and more resources and flexibility that enables them to stay focused on competing at the highest levels. It's allowing them to make this dream of playing video games professionally more and more of a reality. Nissan came in with Curse, Qualcomm came in with TSM, Papa John's with Evil Geniuses, Samsung with Ozone. The list is ever expanding. And one cool new development that I'm thrilled to announce today is that we just went live with a partnership with Coke Zero. What's most exciting about this is Coke's not getting involved in a traditional way that a sponsor would. They're actually getting involved to come help the scene. They're partnering with our Challenger League in order to help strengthen this aspirational path to pro that's so vitally important. We're creating a league that feeds into the LCS. We're going to be announcing more details about that at a later date, but if you want a sport analogy, think about Major League Baseball has AAA, NFL has NCAA, NBA has NCAA basketball. So we're fired up about this. I wanted to let you guys all know what's happening, but more details coming soon. So we've created the who, and the what, and the why, but now how I watch it and how I participate in it. We wanted accessibility as a fan to be able to consume this content in a really relevant way for them and on their terms. It's really been perfect timing for us. Again, around internet, around HD, streaming content to consumers is so easy. It essentially makes TV not really necessary for us. VODs, which are videos on demand, they're available immediately following a match. And as a fan, I can miss games and still find them afterwards and watch them uninterrupted on my own terms. If I go try and find a Dallas Cowboys game right after a game concludes, I'm limited to only watching highlights on ESPN or online. So this is truly game-changing for the sport. We've also created a streaming portal. So at the top of the screen here, it's tough to see, but we rely on Twitch, on Zubu, on YouTube. It's 3 different platforms. So to think about it differently, it's like a baseball game being on ABC and on CBS and on Fox. I get to select whatever platform works best for me. This is, again, kind of in a bit of contrast to traditional sports. They're striking exclusive TV deals with networks, and it can only be seen on one channel. And guess what? If you don't have that channel, you're sadly out of luck. I mean, I'm a DirecTV customer, and I can't watch USC football games despite living in LA, and it kind of drives me nuts. But this is accessible all over the globe. I mean, our primary goal is to simply ensure that there's high-quality viewing experience, no matter where they are, no matter what time of day, no matter the language. And if you'd rather watch games live with friends at a bar, I mean, there's that option as well. We have viewing parties that we've helped kind of enable our community supporters to throw all over the globe. I think the number stands at over 120 viewing parties that are going on. And some of our hardcore fans in Europe have organized these to start at 4 in the morning. Brazil has had a ton of them. I mean, they're literally going on everywhere. And last but not least, we're trying to find ways to make this experience better, plain and simple. We want this to be an enjoyable spectacle, both in terms of the broadcast as well as attending the live event. These events should be enjoyable. They need to be enjoyable. They need to be memorable. And in order to make that experience feel right, we've had to level up the production from all angles. We're all hardcore admirers of what ESPN does. We're taking a lot of pages out of their book. We created an analyst desk that's done awesome breakdowns of the game and chatter around the scene. We've looped in fun elements like a giant TV telestrator where commentators can draw on the TV to break down plays. We've leveled up our on-stage equipment. We have our professional players wearing helicopter headsets that insulates the crowd noise from them. And of course, we've done basics, right? We've had dedicated referees who are monitoring our pro players during the game. Folks on our team who are doing this as a passion project in Season 2, on top of their other primary jobs, we've refocused them in Season 3, and now they're all in on the production side. You know, our shoutcasters and analysts, they've been 100% focused on that, and it's allowed them to really excel in their craft. And arguably the biggest step that what we've done was dedicating a video production team that we've built from the ground up. And you'll get a good glimpse of that in the following video.
So the week starts with the Monday morning meeting where we all come in and we all meet to talk about kind of what happened the week before and what's going to happen this week. We go over story points that we want to hit. We go over features that we're going to do. And we basically have a rough outline of what our show is going to be like this week. We come out of that with all our notes, and then it's time to start writing scripts, and that's where the show begins. All right, once we have that outline from the Monday morning meeting, I've got to write the copy that fills it in.
And when we come in together on Tuesday, we kind of just like share ideas, hash it out, and then realize what's the actual stories that we do want to tackle.
The casters are essential. I mean, they're the face of the program, and they are the experts. They know exactly what they want to say and how they want to say it, and it's just our job to help bring out the material from them.
I think a lot has to do is because they're not flashy when they win. Like, they don't dominate people, they just take care of business.
It's one of my jobs to kind of get their voice in my head. So when I write the show, when I'm writing Rick's line, I've got to think like Rick, which is scary as hell.
Yeah!
Come game day, the studio fills up with all the rest of the production crew, and the staff triples, and it's just excitement and chaos and everything you'd expect to see in a working production studio on live show day. This week's a special week with 4th of July. We're starting Thursday only, and we're doing 8 matches, and we're starting early. So that morning we do kind of our last notes pass, and we polish the script, and now it's got to be ready to go. And then we move down to the studio where we rehearse. That's when we double check everything.
There's so much more than just talking into the monitor that goes into the show. A lot of the rehearsal is for tech, for camera shots, checking the players, running the assets and the slides that come up.
That'll go for 1 or 2 hours depending on how much we want to run through and how much tech needs to be practiced for that week as well, and then just go by.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Rolex, drift 12, and zoom in 12, ready 14, and flash, ready 13, and the top of 13.
Welcome to week 4 of the North American LCS Summer Split. I'm Rick Bislin III, along with Joshua Jatlees.
And then once the games start, the games always carry it. The players put on such good shows, it is not hard to be excited when the games are this amazing.
Cloud9 is rushing to the fight right now, and it looks like it may be a clean ace on this one. 5-4-0. Focus takes the win. And I think a lot of that actually has to do because they're not flashy in their wins. They just take care of business, kill the Nexus.
And that does it here for week 4 of the North American LCS. So for myself, Kobe, Rib, Jack, the entire live broadcast crew, GG, thanks for watching. And for those who celebrate it, happy 4th of July.
So many aspects and so many people doing things, and each person is a part of a giant puzzle, and if any piece was missing, the whole thing would fall apart.
There's just so many things, it's impossible to name them all. But all the little things that come together, they can go.
So we've looked to create event experiences that really reflect the passion of our fans, the seriousness of the competition, and the high level of play that's demonstrated all across the globe. We knew we could level up our stage design we knew we could get really, really creative with the production value, and we're continuing these experiments into tomorrow. Here's some cool examples of some of our past events. Right here you have our Shanghai All-Star Game. Here's Korea's OG Champions League. There's a France LCS road stop in Lille. Our playoffs at Culver a couple weeks ago. Galen Center last week. And we can't wait for Staples. So ultimately, we want to create unforgettable experiences for all of our fans. That is what drives us in Riot, drives us in everything that we do. We love esports. It's our passion, and we're thrilled to share it with you guys tomorrow. Thank you, guys.